Hello students, I am Nidhi Markade. Today we are going to start next chapter, chapter number 10, gravitation in physics. So, in chapters 8 and 9, we have learned about the motion of objects and force as the cause of motion. We have learned that a force is needed to change the speed or direction of motion of an object. We always observe that an object dropped from a height falls towards the earth. We know that all the planets go around the sun, the moon goes around the earth. In all these cases, there must be some force acting on the objects, the planets, the moon, etc. Isaac Newton could grasp that the same force is responsible for all these phenomena, and this force is known as gravitational force. So, in this chapter, we shall learn about the gravitation and the universal law of gravitation. We shall discuss the motion of objects under the influence of gravitational force on the earth. Also, we'll study how the weight of a body varies from place to place, and also discuss the conditions for objects to float in liquids. So, let us start with the topic gravitation. We know that the moon goes round the earth. An object, when thrown upwards, reaches a certain height and then falls downwards. It is said that when Newton was sitting under a tree, an apple fell on him. The fall of the apple made Newton start thinking. He thought that if the earth can attract an apple, can it not attract the moon? Is the force the same in both the cases? So he concluded that the same type of force is responsible in both the cases. He argued that each point of its orbit, the moon falls towards the earth instead of going off in a straight line. So it must be attracted by the earth. But we do not really see the moon falling towards the earth. So let us understand this topic more detail. Activity 10.1. Take a piece of thread as shown in the figure. Tie a small stone at one end. Hold the other end of the thread and whirl the stone around as shown in the figure. Now, note the motion of the stone. Definitely the stone moves in a circular path. Now release the thread. Note the direction of the stone. When the thread is released, the stone moves tangentially to the circle at the point of release. So before the thread is released, the stone moves in a circular path with a certain speed and changes direction at every point. The change in direction involves the change in velocity or acceleration. On the basis of this activity, we will discuss three more important points. That is, the tangent to the circle, centripetal force, and including that, gravitational force. Let us discuss one by one. Tangent to a circle. A straight line ABC or PQR that meets the circle at one and only one point is known as tangent to the circle. As shown in the figure, the line ABC is a tangent to the circle at point B, while line PQR is a tangent to the circle at point Q. Both the straight lines shown in the circle. Now, centripetal force. The motion of the moon around the earth is due to the centripetal force. The centripetal force is provided by the force of attraction of the earth. If there were no such force, the moon would pursue a uniform straight line motion. So, centripetal force acting on a body causes it to move in a circular path. This is the example. Now, it is seen that a falling apple is attracted towards the earth. Does the apple attract the earth? If so, we do not see the earth moving towards an apple. Why? Actually, according to the third law of motion, the apple does attract the earth. But according to the second law of motion, for a given force, acceleration is inversely proportional to the mass of an object. We have discussed this in last chapter. The mass of an apple is negligibly small compared to that of the earth. So we do not see the earth moving towards the apple. extend the same argument for why the earth does not move towards the moon. In our solar system, all the planets go around the sun. By arguing the same way, we can say that there exists a force between the sun and the planets. From the above facts, Newton concluded that not only does the earth attract an apple and the motion, but all objects in the universe attract each other. And this force of attraction between objects is known as gravitational force. Now, most important topic of this chapter, universal law of gravitation. Every object in the universe attracts every other object. The force of attraction between two objects is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distances between them. So let us start the derivation. Here, according to the figure, the gravitational force between two objects is shown according to the universal law of motion. What they are saying, force of attraction, that is capital F, is directly proportional to product of masses, that is capital M into small m. Capital M is the mass of first object and small m is the mass of second object B, and this same force is inversely proportional to the square of distances between them. So we can write F is inversely proportional to d square, or F is proportional to 1 upon d square, where d is the distance between the two masses, that is M1, that is A and B. Now let us discuss importance of the universal law of gravitation. The phenomena explained by the universal law of gravitation based on very first point, the force that binds us to the earth. Second, the motion of the moon around the earth. Third, the motion of planets around the sun, and even the tides, low tides, high tides, due to the moon and the sun. So these are some important phenomenon based on law of gravitation. So students, I hope you understood the initial part of gravitation. Thank you for listening.